Why do they call you the Barrows Queen?
Oh, well, the only explanation I can give is because we were hiring barrows.
Because you were hiring barrows?
Before we took over the market.
Oh, aye.
And had hundreds of barrows.
But you've got no barrows now, have you?
No. We've one for their own use.
Oh, yes. Now, how old are your barrows? I mean, at the market?
This place here, well, wait till I see, well, it'll be 29 years anyhow.
And if it's not a rude question, how old are you?
I'm 75, as sweet as a nut.
That's good.
I'm as good as 25. I'm a hard nut to crack.
I can remember having some very, very happy times and having a sense of belonging to the place where I felt part of the scene. Some of the funniest experiences and meeting some of the wittiest people on earth, possibly.
Every stall was different, and you could, it's a true saying, you could get anything from a needle to an anchor.
Seeing it through a youngster's eyes, or seeing it through a young person's eyes, what the hell is this all about? What is this all about? These people are nuts.
Well, there used to be a man that sold the towels, and I always remember all these wee ladies, all these wee housewives used to all gather round the front of him, and all he did really was insult every single one of them, and they loved it. And every week they were back for more. I think it's just a Glasgow thing. People like to get insulted and they think it's funny and they go back for more because they really enjoy it. And it's all, again, about the banter, really, isn't it?
This is your lucky day. Don't get excited, dear. Here.
I called him Malcolm. Everybody else calls him Malky. I was with him for almost 11 years. He's nearly 9 years dead. Everybody wanted to get a pitch next to Malky.
Yes, each and the lover's not, lady on my right. Lady, wait a minute, love.
Fascinating. Patrick, my baby. Some of the stall holders used to stand with dictaphones to try and get his patter so as they could go home and copy it. But nobody could copy it. That was how selling his towels. They start off at £40 and you seen them all coming in with their hands up, honest. And I used to stand back, oh, what a salesman.
Our main item was the old Bakelite radios, the old valve radios, right? They're not sorry these people had never been heard of in these times, but they're all Bakelite radios. We used to sell them for £1.50, but there was a stall away along the other end of the Barrows who sold them for £1, and we bought them off them for £1, and we took them back to our stall and we sold them for £1.50.
There's a painting over there, right? It's a big Irish guy, and he used to come down and he would lie on the ground and he would throw a breeze block and it would burst on his chest, and he used to burst chains, and the next thing he would stand up and he'd swallow saws. I mean, right into his mouth. It must have touched the base of his stomach, you know. And he used to get everybody when the door open, he would be pulling. Him myself, about 12, 13 people pulling, and he would pull you on your backside. He was that strong. We called him a strong man. I never ever got his second name.
He'd have a big chain around his neck, and he could all the muscles. He was only about this, 4'10", if he even was 4'10", and he can lift a man up in each hand for the ground. He could break these chains. The lassie's eyes used to pop out. Oh, look at his muscles, you know. But he was too wee.
Balancing it on his chin. Like that. A full cartwheel. Aye. Irish paddy. Strong as an ox.
Long time ago, the market bought fabulous people, loads and loads of families. It was a day out, no one else was open on a Sunday, and people came to the Barrows because it was a family entertainment day. I didn't see him, but years ago you had the man with the snake and the kids used to come and watch him. You had the man selling the cough mixture. You had the man that opened up his jackets and had 50,000 watches. There was the man throwing the plates up in the air by the time we came. He used to throw them up and smash them, and then he'd throw them out and shout, "Who can catch this?" And the man throwing out the towels. There was the other chap that used to throw out all the net curtains. All that spirit and patter and banter made the market.
My goodness, it's not a bag of bullets! 18 pieces, 4 3 Bs, and a Stafford on 40. That is a perfect piece. Watch what I'm going to do. Everyone fully guaranteed is perfect. You find a mark, a flaw of damage.
There was another character there. He used to wear tails. He was, I think, he was about 6'4" us, but a big lanky guy, very bony, and he used to wear a top hat, the tails, and his trousers, and he had these big shoes which were a size too big for him, and he had false teeth in each feet. And what he used to do, he used to tap dance. This is true, right, and play the fiddle, the violin, but you could tell with his playing of his quality. I mean, he was no amateur, this guy, you know. I'd only ever seen him once. I seen him outside the pavilion once, and he was doing a bit of busking out there, you know, because I used to love watching him because he was so, his antiques were, his body went with his music, if you know what I mean, and it didn't take long for his hat to fill up with pennies, you know.
Johnny Cash was also an authority in tropical fish, and sometimes he was known as John the Fish or John à la Poisson. To put that's the French kind of term. But he was a super salesman, very. I worked with John on and off for years in the central heating and sales business, and John was probably the best salesman that I'd ever worked or known. A very good salesman.
They were actors on a stage. Not literally, but that's what it was. The actors are selling their product for getting people into the theatre. He's getting money off the audience for his goods.
Not only had the stallholders, but as you quite rightly say, you had the street theatres, you had the entertainers who walked about, you had people they dressed up in various costumes, you had cowboy, folk going about with cowboy uniforms or cowboy outfits on, with their guns, caps in them, as we call them caps, but the explosive caps in them, shooting aim off, and you had people come through the barrows on horseback and things like that as well. There was this carnival atmosphere.
We go every Christmas Eve to the Barrows because that's my nicest memories. But the atmosphere was incredible, just incredible. It's a ritual that I just like to go back every Christmas Eve and walk round and just, it's lovely.
Crazy sweet courgette, could be a cucumber, potato or cabbage, a carrot, cut. When it starts to cut, there's no thick, there's no thin, there's no lumps, there's no bumps, there's no missing fingers.
6 for a pint in the hot fresh donuts. 6 for a pound in the hot fresh donuts.
All your company toys and half the shop prices.
The reason I went into the Barrows was because I had 2 children, and well, they were small then and I was on my own. So instead of giving my clothes away that I didn't wear, I thought I would try and sell them. So I went into a place in the Barrows called C-Section. Sounds like jail now. It's called C-Section, and that's where everybody sold clothes. And I had a wee stall. And then I built trellis up, and I used to hang all the clothes up. And that's how I got started. And then it just escalated. I went into jewellery and lamps, and I thought, this is great fun, this. Then I went to a place called the Wash House, which is near Bain Street but underneath, and I set up a stall there with lamps and wee tables and bric-a-brac, and it was just such good fun, and you met fabulous people.
When I came here, I came down to see the bombing, and the bomb dropped at a chapel, and it knocked a house down, tenement building, and that was my introduction to the Barrows, and I've been here ever since. I've carried coal, I've carried briquettes, delivered milk, You name it, I've done it. I used to sell the dollops over on the London Road. Dollops, that means the old clothes, you see. We used to go out hawking during the week and sell the old clothes, the best of the old clothes over in the market.
The chestnut man, do you mind him? Oh, man sold chestnuts. He was a foreigner, I don't know. I think he was Italian. And he had to be, it was a barra and it was a fire, right? But you opened the top up and you put the chestnuts in, and he just knew when he was ready. And that's where I spent all my money in the chestnuts. Other ones were going for sweeties. I was going for I loved the chestnuts. And I used to, when I hadn't any money, I used to stand in just at his stall, at his barra, you know, getting a heat maybe, and he used to chase me, so I'm fed up seeing your face.
As a child, I used to go to the barracks with with my father. Lots of nice people, great banter. As a small child, I remember the man who, I think he only had one arm, and he used to give bookie tips out, and he used to charge everybody a shilling. And they used to queue up and say, you know, oh, there's the man that will give us the tips, and he charged everybody a shilling. I mean, you don't have anything like that nowadays. It's quite unique, let's face it, you know, that you can go out in the street and say to somebody, how about giving me a tip for the horses or whatever. But this man did, and apparently he was quite good. Apparently there was quite a lot of people who used to win.
£7 for a dinner plate's not expensive, up and went blast. There's your dinner plate, we'll call that 1-1. There you have, ladies and gentlemen, your soup plates. Now, if you want to keep your dinner hot, ladies and gentlemen, there's one, there's two, there's lot number 3, there is 4 soup plates.
This is the place where the lino was sold, just here. The lino sales was just here, and the men who would carry it would be standing waiting for the purchaser. And whenever there was a purchase made, there would be a number of generally unemployed men sort of standing about. And I remember my mum purchasing the lino and a man volunteering and taking it home, and my mum and I walking up the high street with this man carrying the lino behind us. A little Glasgow worthy with this big roll of lino. For maybe £1 he would take it home for, you know, but that was quite a common occurrence in these days, you know.
The men used to sell the stuff off the back of the lorries. The lorries come in the Friday night and the men sell the stuff off the back of the lorries the Saturday and the Sunday. You know, could be the own chalk dolls, you know, chalk statues, plates, linoleum, delf, anything at all, you know. Anything that they could get their hands on. Remember, this was the late 40s, 50s, into the 60s. Very, very busy, very busy. You couldn't get moving here, you know. It was a pickpocket's nightmare.
We're very, very fortunate to have taken over a family business which has been in this East End area for, what is it now, nearly 110 years. But 1903 was when my grandpa opened it, and it was only homemade sweets. There wasn't like Cadbury's or anything introduced. And he decided after a number of years when the market opened that he would take a stall there as well. We had quite a few shops in the area and a small factory, and my grandpa went round on a Saturday and Sunday to the market, which was exceptionally busy then.
Glickman's a sweetie shop, yes, and my mother used to buy candy balls, black stripper balls and cinnamon balls. They were the 3 favourites, but the candy balls, and it was always 2 ounce. How crazy is that?
Character in the bars there, there was a wee Indian guy, he used to sit in a wee corner, and they called him the snake oil man, and he sold his stuff. He used to rub his hands were always shiny with this oil, and he would give a whiff it and it would blow the heat off it. It'd sober you up for a weekend's boozing, you know.
Snake oil, that's what was in the ointment potions, snake oil. That's what it was. Because you're talking about he used to now and again have a snake round his neck. I didn't like it.
Cockney jock. His real name was Dick Lee. His Cockney accent was fascinating, and he exaggerated it. This pint has painted 3/4 of Glasgow. We've used it in 3/4 of Glasgow. This paint has been manufactured to the finest degree. And I'm like, oh, Dick, don't. You know it's a lot of lies. The heckler. Not real paint. So he says, I'll let it go. There's no point, because I've got maybe a few hundred. That's a lot of people. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this. I've got a paintbrush, not real paint, the heckler. Prove it's real paint. Oh, he says, I got to a stage. He says, he won't shut up. But whatever the container was, he opened it, walked over to the guy, and poured it over him. And the guy's like that. He said, what the hell are you doing? He said, it wasn't real paint, it won't affect you. And the whole place erupted into bellows of laughter. He just walked off home, and he got on with his spiel.
Last summer, I sold loads and loads of beautiful little two-handled vases, which were very, very cheap indeed. The lady holding the greyhound, which was a marvellous seller, and my pal, the little boy with his doggy pal, and a very, very great seller is the little pairs of wall plaques, beautiful artistic paintings, and hang them up on the walls in pairs. I believe I sold thousands and thousands of pairs of those little figures.
I used to play football on a Saturday afternoon, and for me it was a build-up. You anticipated it, you looked forward to it, and it was like showbiz, because you're dealing with the public all the time. And I enjoyed it. I got a big kick out of going round somewhere and buying something for a tenner, and maybe making a fiver or doubling your money on it. And it wasn't a lot of money. We never made a lot of money, but it was, well, that's what we're telling you anyway.
The Barras wasn't for making money. It's a whole social...
It was a social thing.
Social event.
Yeah, yeah.
We all went into the pub.
Oh,
some of us traded from the pub, actually.
That's right.
You never were in your place. If you wanted a price for anything from Buddy Quinn, for example, or Raymond, you went to the pub, because that's where they were.
We used to come down every Sunday. Every Sunday, because that was my day off my work. And when I was married at first, we and the wife with the Waynes, we used to come down here with my dad. Because my dad never lived in here. And it's a great place to walk about. In the days, there was no Ford's Market, there was no of these big supermarket things. This was the place to be if you wanted to buy anything. The Barras. There's people from England know about the Barras. There's people all over the world who heard of the Barras. That's a fact.
And even at the Barras, we had a wee scam going. We cut this wee hole out, one of the stallholders. In fact, it ended up years later on, his son ended up my best pal, but I'll not mention his name anyway. What happened was he used to have a box and he threw the money in it. So I come in during the week and cut a wee hole behind it, and I would stick my hand into it, a couple of shillings, and that was me for the weekend, you know. So one Saturday we come in and I stuck my hand in, and there was a big size 8 boot crushed my leg. What's I doing? I go, you know. But that's the kind of things you done when you were a boy, you know. You were out doing wee fiddles here and wee fiddles there, you know.
Quinn's Yard. I started off in Quinn's Yard, which was next to the Squirrel Bar. And Bud Quinn organised it all. He let out to us, there must have been about 20 dealers in there. And Bud traded himself as well as taking rents. And Bud did all his hard work during the week. And he'd sit at that bar with a large vodka and lemonade. And people would come through the swing door of the Squirrel. And they'd say, look, Bud, hold out a pair of candlesticks, £25. Bud just sat there and took money the whole day. It was fantastic.
Give me the pound, David, give me the pound.
I was working the rigs, and I was working in an Aberdeen company, and we were needing tools, special tools for the job. And this guy was wondering where he gets it. And one of the boys said, "You get it in Bill's Tool Store." The guy said, "Who's Bill's Tool? Who's that?" He said, "That's a shop down at the Barras, sells everything, all the tools." He said, "That's what we'll do. Let's get one of the boys for you to bring back next time, that's it." Because it's a well-known place. And as he, Bill's Tool Store must be the best one of the best known place in Glasgow. Everybody knows it. Where's he get that? Bill's Tool Store. Where's he get that? Bill's Tool Store. Well known. Bill's Tool Store, been there for years. And you want Bill's Tool Store. That's funny. I mean, Eve's Cruise. Where's the Bill's Tool Store? Everything.
There was a man come over last year to go to Bill's Tool Stores for Canada, which I thought was pretty amazing. Something he'd bought before he had emigrated and he needed a new one, but he had to go to Bill's Tool Store to get it. You get people coming away with things like that. They've been away for so long, they just felt they had to come back.
I was born in Kent Street at the Barras, and my father was born there up number 41. And when Maggie McIver had it, oh, it was, you had people in the street shouting, "There, your tomatoes, a tanner a bun, a tanner a bun." It was brilliant, but now it's changed now.
I don't think they should ever do away with the Barrows. I think the city needs the Barrows in a different form. Don't destroy the culture. Keep it.
Well, obviously there's a movement just now to close it down, but there's a counter movement from a trader's perspective to keep it going. To put life back into the Barras, I don't think. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. But it would be a shame to turn it over to developers. It would be a shame to do away with the Barras in its entirety. It's part of our culture, part of Glasgow's culture.
There's still characters. There's still characters in there. Still, there's some of them are certifiable. How things they get up to and things that they say.